What's up, guys? I'm Scott Sapia.
I'm Coach Sully Carter.
Today we're going to talk about off-season training and the different balances that you need to have as a player.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how there's a big difference between playing and training in the off-season, and it's important to have a proper balance. So let's go ahead and get started and jump right in.
If you had to do your career over again, what would be your ideal summer off-season training? Let's say you're a sophomore in high school, going to be a junior.
So for sure, I would focus on weights first. I would focus on right when season got out. Well, first I would take a week break.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to take a week or 2 weeks or whatever you can do for your body, just to rest your knees, your ankles, your joints. Basketball's a long season, especially if you play that third sport. You don't have a lot of rest time anyways, so it's very important to rest. And then from there, I would start hitting the weights pretty aggressively. That was something I didn't do a very good job of in high school. I was very intimidated by the weight room, and I was intimidated by just other people lifting, getting hurt. You hear horror stories, stuff like that. And then from there, I would do a lot of on-court training, but I would never train more than I played. I think playing gives you the best experience. There's players that you see that train, and then game time comes, and they don't know how to incorporate all these new moves or techniques that they've learned. So I think it's almost a 50-50 split.
50-50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people arguing that online about, kids that train too much versus kids that play too much and don't, so you have to find that balance of making sure that you're working on your skills and your fundamentals, but also getting that competitive vibe and putting those skills and fundamentals that you learned into a game environment. I think the weight room thing is big. That's something that I kind of avoided too. I would go in there, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was also intimidated by the weight room just because I was a skinnier guy and I couldn't lift as much as most people. And so, it was an embarrassing thing. But in reality, no one was probably even looking at me.
No.
I probably could have been in there doing my thing and no one would have even noticed. And people are supportive of kids that try. And, I wish I would have put more time into that because it would have helped me develop more earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus waiting till college to finally develop and get strong.
It helps with, even if you don't touch weights, even if you're out doing these body weight stuff and just movement techniques, later on in life, I learned a lot about, certain stretches that can help you in other ways that you don't really think about at the high school level. And that definitely would have been a bigger focus of mine.
Okay, let's go back to in high school. I knew nothing about lifting weights.
Yeah.
Who would you go to or what would you go to turn to for advice for a strength training program?
Well, nowadays you have the good and bad of social media. So you have a lot of terrible techniques being talked about on social media. But you also have a lot of great Instagram accounts and websites that do give good advice for high school kids. And pro athletes are now starting to be a bigger thing as far as on social media, giving advice to high school kids. And I think I would have reached out to other coaches more often. It was when you go to your high school, you only have what the high school can offer. And every high school is limited to their reach. And I would have been less intimidated, I think, going back to reach out to other coaches in the area, because you find out once you become a coach that for the most part coaches just want to help kids. They don't really care who they play for.
Right.
And so I would have probably utilized, and maybe older players.
I think you nailed it. I think just doing what the pros do is probably the best scenario. Obviously you probably don't have the same amount of time and the same amount of options as far as they can pay for anything and they can have their own trainer, but just getting an idea of what they do. So you can go probably look up LeBron's workouts pre-game and off-season workouts on YouTube. And so kids today, should really utilize those tools that they have in YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all the videos and content that comes with that. And, copy Damian Lillard, copy LeBron, copy Steph, copy, find a player that, plays your position and copy what they do.
Yeah.
I think I would do that. I think the second thing I would do is exactly what you said, is just reach out to coaches, because coaches are researching that sort of stuff for their players in their free time because they want their programs to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Alan Brown, I'm sure if you reached out to him at LCC, he would give you great ideas. Backamus, Dre, Kinch, all the local coaches, they would do a great job of providing stuff for you.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with just busting your butt. So go run a hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Go do the Rothford.
Do something.
Yeah, the Rothford Hills.
Go do the Rothford Hill. Yeah, when in doubt, that's the biggest thing. Because when you talk about being intimidated by working out, do 100 push-ups.
Yeah.
Do stuff that you can control. That's really easy. Like, hey, I can do a bunch of push-ups.
Don't outthink the room.
Yeah.
Do 100 push-ups, do 200 sit-ups, run until you're tired.
You don't know how to do these
further, and then call it a day.
Workouts of like throwing ropes around and doing a bunch of crazy things.
Yeah.
Like, keep it simple, and then by the time you actually do get that opportunity to meet with somebody, maybe you'll be a little bit more confident in your body,
right.
And you can go and do those things.
What's your perspective on, so obviously every player has some strengths and has some weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Where are you delegating your time? Are you putting it towards getting your strengths even better? Or are you putting all your focus on your weaknesses, or are you doing a split?
Yeah, so at the high school level, you're trying to hit that varsity role or whatever you're trying to do to get to the next spot, whatever your next spot is.
Yeah.
You might be trying to get to college. I think you have to continue to do what you do as far as what are you good at. But in basketball, there's things that you can always do, like shooting. You can always control. Like, most people aren't just born with a great jump shot.
Right.
So as long as you live and as long as you're a basketball player, you need to continue to get a bunch of reps up from the jump shot because you can lose that.
Yeah.
Other things, though, like ball handling and working on like your left hand or right hand weakness, whatever your offhand is, I think that in the offseason it is important to focus on the stuff you weren't good at. Mm-hmm. And that's why film's important and learning how to break that down, because you can say, okay, hey, I wasn't good. Every time I drove with my left hand to the left, I took 2 dribbles and stopped. Okay, so now I need to, what can I do? Can I get a jump shot out of that? Mm-hmm. Can I go to the hoop? But also at the high school level, you need to work on your concepts. So your IQ. Like, what do I do if a kid sets a down screen for me? Do I curl? When do I curl? Yeah. And so specific skills aren't always the most important. You might have to work on your IQ stuff throughout the summer. So that way, when you get to the season, you have a well-rounded approach.
Yeah, I think that's big. I think something that I did during my career was I would try to figure out 3 things that I stunk at the year before, or something, 3 things that I thought I could improve on, and try to focus on those 3 things while, keeping my strengths. Yeah. And I usually could handle 3 things in an off season. So like 3-point shooting, free throw shooting, ball handling with my weekend, just pick some things. Yeah. I think if you choose 50 things, it's you're going to get maybe 1% better at all of them, and you won't notice a difference. I think it's important to maybe just figure out the biggest things that you're struggling with and see if you can improve on those. But I also think it's important to, continue to add to your strengths. So, I think of like a Grant Gibb. He's a great 3-point shooter. I don't think that he should spend a whole summer working on just driving. I think he should also, maybe
do what you're good at.
Yeah, do what you're good at. Increase your percentages. See if you can, add some range to your shot.
Because no matter what, especially at the high school level, but at any level, no matter what you're good at, there's probably somebody who's better. Mm-hmm. And so there's always time to spend on your strengths. Yeah. But I think it's really important to have measurables. So you said like pick 3 goals, which is great. So you want to pick those 3 goals. Now let's make some measurables. I want to improve by 10% on my shooting percentage next year. That way you can look at it over an off season. And that's why it's so important to track your workouts. I don't remember who it was. There's a WNBA player, and I'll have to look it up and then get back to everybody. But it's she tracked every single one of her workouts from like 6th grade. So every shot attempt, what the workout was, what she shot, 10 for 40 this time. And so she can look back right now and say on May 12th, 2003, I shot this percentage in a practice. And what that does is it allows you to see your progression, because I have no idea if my shot is 5 or 10% better from last spring. Right. Because I'm just shooting and I don't get to see that. Right. But if I have it on paper that says, hey, in this same exact drill, I shot 10 for 50 last year and now I'm shooting 25 for 50, continuously.
You're seeing improvements.
I'm seeing that improvement, and I can be, okay, good, it's working. Because how do you know if something's working or not?
And that'll turn on itself and give you some more motivation to work out even more. Yeah. I think it's cool to maybe like figure out, okay, this offseason I want to put up, let's say, 5,000 shots. Yep. Okay, so how many days in the offseason are there? Divided by, 5,000 divided by that many amount of days. How many shots is that going to take? What days do I know I'm going to take off 4th of July? There's some days where you're not going to exaggerate. Yeah, so figure out what's reasonable, but also would push you. I think it helps to have goals that are attainable versus goals that are just like way crazy. I
want to shoot 100,000 shots.
Yeah, in the next 3 weeks. You're not going to do it. Yeah. So I think in the off season, I think, to summarize it, get a good workout plan.
Yep.
And don't, go crazy with trying to do the craziest workouts. Just do stuff that you know that you can handle and with, tools that you have. Set goals for your workouts on the court and in the weight room. Reach out to people that are in positions higher than you, coaches, athletes, trainers. What else did we cover?
It's important to get those game minutes and workout minutes.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a 50-50 split, maybe for every 2 workouts you play in an open gym.
Yep.
And to really go on that last point real quick on the playing, maybe don't play a bunch of organized games either. Maybe just go and get 10 guys and play a pickup game outside.
1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3.
You don't have to play refereed games.
Yeah.
It's not important to get 100 AAU games in, but it is important to get a bunch of open gyms, a bunch of, just playing basketball. Not only does it help you improve, but it makes the game more fun.
And make the games matter. Be competitive.
Yeah.
Like, be frustrated when you lose.
Yeah.
Have a goal of, I want to win every single game that I play in, whether it's 2-on-2 or 5-on-5 with refs.
Yeah.
So another thing that we didn't touch on, but I think it's important to have a workout partner.
Absolutely.
I think you and I spent a lot of summers together working out, and there was days where I didn't want to work out, but I knew that I was being a sucky workout partner if I didn't come and put in a full effort.
Important.
And so
accountability
is huge. Other than that, I'm sure we didn't cover everything, but that was a good.
I think it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Hopefully
right.
you guys enjoy.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah.